All right, y'all, welcome back to the show. It's Antiwar Radio. I'm Scott Horton. And our first guest on the show today is Paul Kawika Martin. He's from peaceblog.wordpress.com. Welcome to the show, Paul. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. And the actual name of the organization is Peace Action.
Peace Action. That sounds like a pretty good deal. My spin is more anti-war, but yeah, pro-peace, that's okay too. So, let's talk about this START Treaty. It's I believe, the most important issue in the world. I don't know how anybody could argue the point. America and Russia's hydrogen bomb stockpiles pointed at each other's civilian populations, threatening the extinction of all mankind and a hell of a lot of other species along with it. What is being done?
Well, you're exactly right. Just a little bit of history for your listeners. Since 1945, the world has produced about 130,000 nuclear weapons. Now 9 countries possess about 23,000 warheads, and Russia and the United States make up about 95% of the world's total. And these current warheads that we're talking about are like 10 to 100 times the destructive force of those that were dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, which killed about 200,000 people.
Yeah, Dan Ellsberg likes to say that a Nagasaki bomb, an implosion plutonium fission bomb, is the blasting cap for a thermonuclear hydrogen bomb.
Yeah, it's very difficult for us to imagine how powerful and how we would never want to see one of these things used. So in any case, we have been moving down to slowly get rid of these things. And we've been doing it through a lot of bilateral treaties between the U.S. and Russia. And the last treaty, which was called the START Treaty, a Strategic Arms Reduction Treaty, expired last December. And the Obama administration, Russia, renegotiated a new treaty. It's called the New START Treaty. It would move us down to about 1,550 long-range bombs each country, which is about a 20 to 30% reduction than what we currently have, and also would continue these verification procedures that we have, which we're able to go into Russia, inspect, and make sure that they are cutting down and they do have safety procedures around their nuclear weapons so they're not stolen or given away. And these verification things have all stopped since the last treaty had expired. So right now, in the Senate, we're attempting to get this treaty to be ratified. Last week, the Senate Foreign Relations Committee voted to move it to the full Senate floor, and it had bipartisan support. And we all know the craziness that's going on in Congress right now and how partisan it is, but it had bipartisan support. So what needs to happen now is it needs to come to the floor for a full vote and get the 67 votes it needs to be ratified. It's a very small step to keeping Americans safer and to moving towards a vision of a world free of nuclear weapons.
Yeah. Boy, it's times like this I really miss Chuck Hagel. He's the kind of guy who can speak reasonably to the Republicans and say, hey, listen, you're not allowed to disagree with me on this one. Me and Dick Lugar, we figured this out, and you guys are going to go along. And they would do it if he was there.
Yeah, it's pretty sad if this ends up dying because of partisan wrangling. It does have support, bipartisan support outside of Congress. It needs to have it inside of Congress. And so, one of the things your listeners can do is certainly call your senators today. People, I'm sure, already have their number on the cell phone, 202-224-3121, 202-224-3121, and tell your senators you want to pass the New START Treaty and you want it to come to the floor for a vote as soon as possible.
Now, what was that number again?
202-224-3121. And that's the congressional hotline. We can reach your representatives and your senators.
I got to tell you, Paul, I very rarely do call to action type stuff on this show because, well, I'm just not feeling it. I sort of feel like somebody's got to at least agree with me before I can come up with any call to actions, what they actually ought to do about it. But in this case, with this most important issue going on right now in the U.S. Senate, there's only 100 of these guys up there. And, if those of us who really care about this can really work, we could get it done, right? Change a couple of senators' minds. That's all we need, right? Make sure Kay Bailey and John Cornyn are on board. Get a couple more of these right-wing lunatics to join up with Dick Lugar, and then we're okay.
Yeah, you're exactly right. As it currently stands, we're probably at 64 senators that we know for sure, and we're pretty sure we have the vote. You need the 67.
Is anybody threatening? Are they threatening a filibuster on this?
No, but we're not sure if the Republican leadership is willing to move forward to get it on the floor. They haven't threatened any filibuster, and even two, we're a little uncertain about even Democratic leadership. Let's not forget we have a very important election, at least for these members of Congress, coming up in a couple of months, and floor time on the Senate is very precious, and so it's going to take pressure from people to say this is something super important and needs to happen, and we want to see it. There's a very small chance it's going to happen for the election. Most likely it would happen in the lame duck session after the election happens.
Yeah, it's funny. It would seem to me, I don't know, if I was running for Senate, I'd be like, hell yeah. Hey, everybody, guess what? I just worked to reduce America's nuclear weapons stockpile and Russia's too. Re-elect Horton, right? I mean, seems like a great idea to me. Nobody likes hydrogen bombs, do they?
No, I think unfortunately, it has 100% support on the Democratic side. And there's certainly a handful of Republicans who are supporting it and will probably support it if it came up to a vote today. But you know how it is now. It's so partisan that they, I think, one, don't want to see the President Obama have a win. Like, this is a win. They negotiated a good treaty. They're making Americans safer. So let's not give that to them. Two, they want to try to make it look like it's not making Americans safer, like it's going to get in the way of building so-called missile defense, which is something Peace Action opposes, building Star Wars missile defense, but they want to say it gets in the way of that, which it doesn't. They want to say it actually doesn't verify some of these spots in Russia. They're just trying to make arguments to of course put the president down and put the Democrats in a weak light, because this has been constantly the Republican strategy has always been making Democrats look weak on defense. And here's a case where certainly this is going to make Americans safer. It's a very small step, and there's no doubt that the Obama administration could do more on nuclear weapons issues. And there's no doubt some of the things that they're doing to make this treaty happen is stuff that Peace Action doesn't agree with. Case in point is they're increasing the funding for some of the nuclear weapons labs about $10 billion over the next 10 years. $100 billion over the next 10 years, and we don't support that. But nonetheless, this needs to be passed. If any of us want to see, either in our lifetime or in our children's lifetime, a world where we don't have to worry about annihilation by nuclear weapons, this treaty has to pass. So I hope people do make the call to their senators and put pressure on them.
Yeah, it's amazing. The Cold War's been over for 20 years, and just to think that any politician would do anything to work against or to even just, negligently refuse to help to push through a treaty that could help reduce the stockpiles of hydrogen bombs on this planet for their own selfish gain is just unforgivable. I mean, that ought to kill the re-election effort of any congressman or senator or politician, political party leader, anyone who's willing to literally screw around with the nuclear weapons stockpiles for their own political gain. They don't want it to look like Obama achieved something. I mean, come on. He hasn't achieved anything. Just pass the damn treaty, You don't have to give Obama credit. We're talking about hydrogen bombs here. This is the future history of mankind being written. And these people are willing to just throw us all away. It's just insane. But I guess that's what it means to be a politician. Hang tight, everybody. We'll be back with Paul Kawika Martin from Peace Action. It's peace-action.org. Talking about the START Treaty with Russia.